what's going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Welcome to the show, guys. Glad to be here. Glad you're here listening. Let's get started, man. Let me first say that you guys might have to excuse me during this podcast because I'm a little tipsy. Just came from a friend's house, man, watching the Dallas Cowboys game, and I might have had, a couple of teaspoons too many. We were over there drinking beer and plenty of sake, and yeah, man, I'm a little twisted, but that's here nor there. Also, I want to let everybody know that my next week's podcast is probably going to be coming out late. We're going to be moving. Well, I'm going to be moving next weekend, so our internet will not be up and running until sometime Monday evening. So you probably won't end up getting the podcast until, Monday night, or maybe worst case scenario, Tuesday morning. So just be wary of that. I'll definitely be announcing it also on my Twitter account. So I'll keep you guys filled in. But a podcast will be coming. It just won't happen Monday morning like they typically happen. Probably Monday night, and worst case scenario, Tuesday morning. So with that out of the way, guys, man, let's get started. Got a big show today. Got a lot of shit to talk about. We have the Tokyo Game Show. We have fucking Nintendo Direct. We have a little bit of some Dragon Ball news as well. Yeah, man, and just a lot of other shit sprinkled in between, man. So, without further ado, let's get started, man. First, I want to start out with some Tokyo Game Show pinpoints. There's a lot of stuff that was going on in Tokyo Game Show, but, I was focusing on some of the shit that I personally wanted to get into and wanted to talk about. And I'm going to start naming some stuff, man. They pretty much showed, a lot of regurgitated stuff as far as, trailers or whatnot. But, a couple new things were shown. But for the most part, man, Kingdom Hearts 3 was shown. And that's coming out January 25th, 2019. Crazy because I guess what else comes out on that same day? We're talking about Resident Evil 2, the remake, a game I've highly praised, and I'm very, very anxious to play. And Kingdom Hearts 3, man, is a definite must buy for anybody who is familiar with the series. And even if you're not, if you just want a good dope ass RPG, action real-time RPG to play, I definitely recommend this title. I remember first playing Kingdom Hearts 1 with the ex of mine, and the Disney characters kind of threw me off at first, but once I got my hands on the game, man, I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the soundtrack. Beautiful soundtrack. One of the best soundtracks, in my opinion, and on any series, man. I can't think of another soundtrack from another game right now on top of my head right now that was as good as the whole Kingdom Hearts franchise has been. But definitely check both of those titles out, man. But yeah, they showed some Kingdom Hearts. They also announced Kingdom Hearts VR, man. Yeah, man, VR. They're going to have Kingdom Hearts coming out on VR. Now, I'm not a VR guy right now because personally, just in my opinion, I don't think we're far enough technology wise to benefit from that. Not me personally. I'm just speaking for me. I think we need to advance a few more years, in my opinion, before I start playing around with VR games. But, we're making great strides technology-wise in that, and I definitely do see a future for VR gaming. But right now, I still think, we're still in the infancy of it all, and I'm just gonna hang back and wait on that a little bit longer. But yeah, man, that's pretty good news, though. We got a lot of games, man, that none of us are really familiar with, but we got some trailers. Another one that caught my eye was one called Dogfighter, slated for 2019, and it's basically a jet fighter type of video game. Think of World War II fighter planes, and the graphics looked looked great. It looks like it's gonna be a nice little game, man. I just advise anybody to check out some info or trailers on this game. It's just something that caught my eye, and graphically it looked beautiful, and it's something that I would definitely like to put my hands on. Let's see what else we got here. God Eater 3. If you guys aren't familiar with God Eater, the series of God Eater, man, it's basically, it kind of reminds me of, there's a game, I guess the closest thing you could line it up next to would probably Monster Hunter, man. Yeah, pretty much, you're your character, you create your character, and you have this weapon, which is pretty much like a sword for melee, but then it also can be kind of transformed into sort of like a gun or a long distance weapon, and you go out and you fucking deal with all kinds of monsters and creatures or whatnot. Pretty good concept. I actually have some God Eater on my PSP. It's a pretty good series, guys. Anybody who don't know about God Eater should check it out. And I think a lot of people who, at least if they like Monster Hunter, they might get a kick out of the God Eater series. They're big time in Japan, of course, and we're getting a little bit now in the States, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But the next game is I want to talk about is Gungrave. Gungrave Gore, I think that's the name of it, and it's also slated for 2019. Gungrave is based off of an anime in Japan. Don't know too much about it, but I've heard whispers in these anime streets. It's pretty popular out in Japan, and they're gonna do a game for it. So I might want to get my mind wrapped around this series and see what it entails, because I might be persuaded to pick this up. Sucker for certain games based on anime, and they don't even have to be all that popular. There's a lot of good ones out here that I haven't even got a chance to play yet. One in particular is a Berserk title, because I'm a big Berserk fan. Berserk is like one of my top 5 anime out here in these streets. And yeah, man, just games like that, that typically only come out in Japan. If you're a Sony guy, then in the States, a lot of these games trickle in through Japan, and we get a chance to get our hands on it. That's one thing about Sony I do love and I do covet, because no other system is giving us those relationships, and we don't get a chance to play a lot of these games. So a lot of these RPGs that are coming out and everything like that, they're JRPGs, Japanese RPGs, and the only system that is pushing those out is Sony. So yeah, man, that is one of the primary reasons I fuck with Sony. Grand Blue Fantasy is a game that I cannot wait for. I'm anticipating this game. Cannot wait to get my hands on that game. But like I said before, that is a game that is strictly from Japan, but we are getting a US release. Thank the Lord for that. But only Sony will give us that type of stuff. You're not going to get that on Microsoft, and you're damn sure not going to get it from Nintendo. But I digress, because I am going to be jumping into some Nintendo talk, guys, a little bit later. And it's kind of a love-hate type of thing. It's kind of like, but I'll say this, all in all, Nintendo Direct was more good than bad. I'll say that. And really, one of the only bad points, in my opinion, is the online. And I'm going to get to that though, but trust me, we'll get to that. Let's see what else. Now, Tokyo Game Show also announced a couple of games, that I am really, really excited about. And the reason why I say that is because, my favorite genre of games, if you guys don't know, for the new listeners out here, are, action adventure, open world RPGs. That's number one. Number two is fighting games. Okay. And 2 of these games that were announced, for the Tokyo Game Show, really, really got me crunk and got me so ready to play them. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about them right now. One of those titles is Dead or Alive 6. That's right, folks. Dead or Alive 6 is slated for release February 15th, 2019. I remember playing Dead or Alive way back in the day, and when it first came out, and what made that game so cool to me was the fact that you actually had a body meter. I don't know the exact word or term, but basically it's got a lot of women in this title, and they have titties, and they have a lot of bouncing going on, and you could actually go into the settings, and you could tweak those settings, and you can make it a little bit more sensitive if you wanted to. So when they're hopping up and down, fighting or whatnot, the titties start to jump up and down, and you can actually turn that knob up or turn that knob down. That was just something on a side note that I thought was interesting about this series. But more so, bigger than that would be the actual, the fighting and the layers of the fighting in this title. It was a very deep game, man. And it was, in my opinion, it was revolved around a lot of counters. So, I mean, if you were good at counters, that's like half the battle in this type of game. So you could pretty much reverse anything that was thrown at you if you knew what you were doing. Very deep game, very dope series, man, with a lot of beautiful women who are fighters who just happen to like to, get their shirts dirty. And, that is coming. We're getting that. Yes, in February. So any fighting enthusiasts out here in these streets, about the Dead or Alive series, but now you know that there's a 6th title coming. So be looking out for that. Okay, now this game right here, guys, fucked me up. And it just fucked me up when I got the news, when I saw the trailer. I mean, as soon as I saw this, man, I started going crazy. This game is Samurai Showdown. In Japan, it is called Samurai Spirits. Yes, I fucking love the Samurai Showdown series. One of my favorite fighting franchises, man, on SNK, on the fucking Neo Geo, man. Just that whole thing. When I think of SNK, I think of King of Fighters, and I think of fucking Samurai Showdown, man. I mean, off top, one of the first games that, used swords as weapons, and there was a lot of blood. I mean, you could fucking, it's just an excellent title, man. There were so many of them, but I'm just proud to, announce that we're getting a brand new Samurai Showdown / Samurai Spirits coming, to the PlayStation, man. Now there's no release date on this title, man, but I can just tell you this from looking at the trailer, and looking at what these guys are doing, you can tell that they're using an engine similar to Street Fighter 4. That's the best I can describe it as far as the cosmetics of the game. And it's basically like a 3D model on a 2D background. And I cannot wait for this. I cannot wait. It looked to be blood in the trailer, so I don't think they're going to be holding back on this. It's looking like a mature M17 rating game. I hope that they stick to that. I hope there's decapitations and things like that, because in the older ones you could actually do some of that, and I can't wait for it. I mean, this is going to be epic. For any Samurai Showdown fans out there, man, take a look at this game. It's definitely going to be worth it. Soul Calibur is another one, which is around the corner, and October is coming out. So, I mean, you have fighters with weapons. When you use weapons, I mean, that's just a different take on, some of the more conventional fighting games. And this one here, in my opinion, man, definitely needs to be touched, definitely needs to be seen and played, in my opinion. And when it comes out, oh my God, I got so much money I'm going to be spending on some of these fighting games, man. I mean, shit. I mean, where will I have the time? But I don't give a fuck. I'm buying this. But yeah, man, I mean, those are just a few things from Tokyo Game Show that I wanted to share with you guys. If you don't know of any of these games, I mean, hey, rewind this podcast, take some notes, and just hit that Google search and definitely give that shit a go. And tell me what you think. Holler at me on Twitter at Studio MacGyver. We can talk about some of the games. Tell me something you might have seen at the Tokyo Game Show that I missed or that you think is interesting, and we can get into that, man. Other than that, man, that is pretty much the news for Tokyo Game Show, guys. Now, I want to get into some other news real quick. I want to talk a little bit about, this news right here. This here touched my soul. And I'm talking about Dragon Ball Super. Now we got some news, not a lot of news, but we got a little something. If you guys are fans of Gogeta, then get ready, because Gogeta is going to be in this movie. Okay. Yes. Nico Yumo I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Nico Umakashi, a live animator, has basically said that he's working on Dragon Ball and practicing drawing Gogeta. So keep in mind that this movie is nowhere near done yet. They're still currently technically working on the game. I mean, working on the movie. It's not done by any means. It's still in the works. And this guy is one of the animators, and he's been, vigorously working on Gogeta, the character, drawing him, doing all kinds of stuff, and getting ready for this movie. So I think it's safe to say, guys, that Gogeta is going to be in this movie. Vegeta and Goku will be merging, and I mean, the way they're souping up Broly right now, man, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to get this job done. I can't fucking wait for this movie. I mean, god damn it. And then, hopefully we get some kind of segue to the future of Dragon Ball Super as a series, even if it's gonna be called Dragon Ball Super or something else. I got a feeling that they're gonna call this Dragon Ball Super. I don't think the name is going to change. I think we're just gonna get introduced to a brand new arc, and we're gonna probably go, hopefully, we're going to go to a place right after this movie, or not too far after this movie, and we're going to start there. And then, I've talked about this before, but, characters like Jiren and the the Pride Troopers, I hope some of these characters make an appearance down the line in this series. When we get bigger threats and we get things that happen, hopefully we can lean on some of our associates, if you will, to help us in all of this. I think that'll be a good look. Jiren is one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball Super. And, I would like to see more of him in the series. But these guys are going to be working on a lot of CGI. And they're saying that it's going to be way better than Resurrection of F in terms of quality or whatnot. But I mean, shit, I didn't see too many flaws in Resurrection of F. I thought it was an amazing movie. I thought it was beautifully animated, and it had a nice touch to it. But, hey, I'm not going to argue with you guys if you're trying to surpass that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I have a feeling that they're putting their heart and their soul into this film. And, that's all I need. Like I said, movies are a little different than the series because, you've got your team working on a movie which only consists of about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, as opposed to like a weekly show, which, you're on the clock all the time. You have to outsource a lot of your work with a lot of animators who don't, typically draw this type of stuff. And, that's why you get the wonky kind of animation, in a lot of these different scenes because, you outsource people and, you get over flooded with work and stuff like that. And that's just how it goes in these animation streets sometimes, man. It's a lot of work, man. These guys are like in fucking sweatshops half the time. They're working 6 days a week, 10-hour days. Just trying to keep up with, the storyboards and whatnot. So there's a lot that goes into it, guys. So they're going to be putting all their eggs in one basket with this movie and focusing just on this. So I know every scene on the movie is going to be crisp. The colors are going to be vibrant. Everything about this movie, man, is going to be dope. And I cannot fucking wait to see it. All right. Now, moving on, guys. Some other great news, which is going to be far, far away. As far as, when we will see or hear anything about this, but just to get the news about this, just the news on this makes my soul tingle all over. And, Team Eco / genDESIGN, which they are now called. If you guys don't know who these guys are, it's one of my personal favorite, game developers. They are responsible for games like Eco, Shadows of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian. Okay, all of these games are under their belt, and they have announced that they are working on another title. Yes, another title. There's no release date coming in, anywhere in sight. But they are working on it. There's a story somewhere out here, and they're working on a new title. And I'm assuming that most likely by the time this title is finished, they're probably writing this for the PlayStation 5, if I had to guess. I mean, could be PlayStation 4, but if I'm putting my money on the table with this, I'm going to assume that it's going to be the PlayStation 5, because these guys are synonymous with working on titles for an extended period of time. And I mean, pretty much every game that they fucking put out, they've at least had put in 4 years or more on their titles. Okay. The Last Guardian took fucking forever. I forgot how many years it took, but it took a fucking lot to get that game. It actually came out. The idea was to put it out on PlayStation 3. Then it got fucking trashed and they rebuilt it from the ground up for the PlayStation 4. It was just a lot of shit going on. So, but I was highly pleased with that Last Guardian. I mean, I bought the collector's edition. I love them. Anything that they have or put out, I support them, and I will always do that. Any game that they have, I will try to get the collector's edition first, and if I can't get the collector's edition, I will definitely buy the game. But yeah, man, they're working on something, and I'm so happy that just to hear that. I know they're having another title coming. I mean, I love everything these guys do, and it's coming out, man. And they also stated that there's it's not going to be linked to any other games. It's not going to be a prequel to one of these titles. It's not going to be, anything like that now. And the only thing that might be, relatable to any of these titles, it might be in the same universe. Other than that, I mean, it's going to be a completely new story, completely new characters or whatnot. And I can't wait to see what this is going to be. I kind of like the way they do their games. They don't really do sequels. They just kind of do stuff, set kind of like in the same universe, but all the stories are just epic as fuck. And I mean, the endings just have you just sitting there after the credits roll and just thinking about, man, what just happened. Just masterpieces, just fucking masterpieces, man. My all-time favorite game is Shadow of the Colossus. Okay. That's one of my number one games of all time. So yeah, kudos to these guys. I'm glad they're working on a new title. Man, I can't wait to play this. I just had to add that real quick. All right, guys. One last thing before we get into this Nintendo Direct shit, and we'll get there in two shakes of a lamb's tail. But I would just want to give a quick update on Spider-Man, just a little something on Spider-Man. I did beat the game finally. I was quite pleased with how it ended. If you guys don't want to hear any spoilers, please fast forward this, or just I don't know what to tell you. I just thought it was an epic title. There's a couple gripes that I had with it, which I gave it an 8.5 as far as, on a scale from 1 to 10. And the reason that was just because some of the boss battles I felt could have been a little bit more intense, or, I guess, broken up a little bit better, because a couple times, a couple of boss fights in the game, you're fighting like two villains at one time. And I kind of would have liked to fight each villain like one-on-one. But other than that, I mean, it was dope. I mean, excellent game, man. I can't wait for the DLC. Looking forward to it. But what I wanted to talk about real quick about this is the fact that, we were trying to figure out, I was trying to figure out, not just me, but a lot of people were trying to figure out, where is the symbiote costume? Are we going to see the symbiote costume, or are we just going to, I didn't give a fuck if it was a symbiote costume. I just wanted, give me the just straight up plain black costume that resembled a symbiote costume, something. And then, listening to the spoiler podcast that the developers had, I think it was on IGN, they were talking about all of this stuff. And one of the things that they said was that they wanted to save that suit for a more epic reveal. In other words, they felt that the suit was a epic suit and it was iconic, and it is, rightfully so. And they didn't want to just, put it, on the game as just another suit. They wanted to add a story behind it or whatnot. And then as soon as I heard that, I already knew, okay, we're talking sequel here. And because, a lot goes into the symbiote suit, or the black suit, if you will. I mean, and it's true. I mean, that's pretty much the birth of, Venom and how all that stuff goes down. So they're probably cooking something up right now as we speak, working on the next title. The only question I have is what console is this going to be hitting on? Are we going to get PS4, or are we going to get, are we going to get PS5? And it could go a number of different ways, because, if you're thinking about it, a lot of developers like to, kind of like movie studios, they keep the ball rolling. So in other words, say you watched an X-Men movie, or say you watch, an Avengers movie, right? And the next Avengers movie doesn't come out for, another year and a half, 2 years, right? Well, as soon as they finish filming that first Avengers movie, they automatically take like maybe a 2 to 3 week break, and then they go right into the second movie, and they begin shooting that movie. Now, they could do something like that with this game development. So their team could already be working on the next title right now, and the story and all of that, for the PS4. So we might get a sequel a year from now, year and a half from now. You know what I mean? Or they could take the scenic route, and they could wait, and they could work on it, and they could definitely get their hands on, the dev kits for the PlayStation 5 and, start working on it that way, which then would take, probably more so maybe 2.5, 3 years before we see another Spider-Man game. There's a number of different ways they could go, directions they could take this. And, that's the question I have. Like, or they could do, crossplay. They could put it out for both systems and then, you PS4 and PS5. So it's just like, yo, what are we going to do here? So the good thing is we are going to have the symbiote suit. It's just not going to be in this title. And we're going to get a big Venom story, so, revolving around the symbiote. I'd rather have that, just keeping it real, than, just putting another suit in. Don't get it twisted, though. I want that suit. I would love to just swing around the city in that suit. That is my favorite Spider-Man. And he's the shit. But, it is what it is. Just to know that we're getting something related to that coming down the pipeline, it makes me feel good. So I'm good with that. Now we can move on to Nintendo Direct. Let's get started on this, guys. So many different emotions running through my body about this, guys. And, for a number of different reasons. I mean, one reason being that, I just recently acquired, a Nintendo Switch. So, I'm more so, paying attention to, pretty much every move Nintendo's making now. I mean, I find myself doing that, and I honestly wasn't doing that and covering Nintendo like I am covering them now. I grazed over some things and everything prominent, I mentioned and I brought up because, I was thinking about buying it, and I had to make sure there were things available to me, when I did get the system that would satisfy me as a gamer and things that I liked before I put my money on the table and got this system. And, I felt that there was enough stuff out there to make that move. I made that move. I'm still in my infancy as far as the system. I still only have one game, and that is Hollow Knight on there because I haven't had a lot of time to play it. Because I got so much stuff going on. I'm moving and getting ready for, the revamping of the YouTube channel, all of this stuff going on, man. But there are some things I want to play. There's some news that we got, and I'm going to touch on some of this shit. Excuse me, I'm burping and I'm doing all this. That's that sake coming through my body and talking to me. Just bear with me, guys. Okay, where should I begin on this? This is like, okay. I guess I should start with the worst first. I'm kind of one of those guys. Get the worst out the way, get the boo-boo out of the toilet, and then we can pee. All right. And I guess the boo-boo in the corner or the elephant in the room is, the online scheme, the online packages they're offering, online period. Okay. Let's get that out the way. This is something that Nintendo is going to be fighting with, man, for quite some time, I think. And, I just want to say this. Us as gamers, this is something I think we should stick together on. I think this is something we should continue to press Nintendo on until they fucking break. And what I'm talking about, man, is the online, capacity of this system and what they're doing with this fucking app and this fucking phone. Okay. Nothing's changed with that. I mean, they're steadily trying to push this online shit on us, $5, I think, for a month. I want to say $7.99 for 3 months. And then it's $20 for a year. Okay. But, the question is, what comes with this? Now, I know $20 for a whole year isn't really a lot of money. But, they're showing us that, you get what you pay for. And it kind of is, it's showing that right now. Nintendo games, they're pushing the Nintendo games. Okay. Anybody can get their fucking hands on a Nintendo game. Let's keep it real. I think that's the reason why this whole thing that Nintendo was doing, going after all these emulator websites, Emu Paradise and all these places like this. I think that's why they all of a sudden just started going after these guys. I mean, why, after all these years that these companies have been up and running, allowing you to download, ROMs of these games and stuff, all of a sudden you just fucking start going after all of these guys, right up until you guys get ready to release this online shit where you are promoting Nintendo titles, NES games. Okay. I'm talking about a system that came out, in the fucking mid 80s. Okay. That's what you guys are tripping on. And to make matters worse, there are only a handful of games. We're talking about a handful of games here. The Nintendo system has an extensive library. So they just don't make sense to me. Nintendo, sometimes they do some good, but then they come back and they do some crazy shit. And I just don't understand why they're doing some of these things. They're just like, they remind me like that old ass senior citizen, who just likes doing dumb shit because they're just old and they're stuck in their ways. And no matter what you say or do, nothing's going to deter them from changing. They're not going to change. They're just stuck. And this online shit is like proof of that. Who gave these guys an idea for this app is beyond my comprehension, but it's a fucking dumbass idea. I mean, take into consider that, everybody doesn't have a phone. I mean, kids, parents are getting their kids, these systems for Christmas and birthdays, and, not every child has a fucking cell phone. I mean, which is hard to believe in this day and age, but it's true. There's a lot of kids who don't have cell phones now. And if you want to communicate and you want to talk to friends and make friends on here and actually talk to them like, most other consoles let us do, then, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we still here at this fucking, prehistoric place? I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's gonna die. I mean, nobody's buying into this app shit. It's really prehistoric, man, and they need to change it. And they can solve all this shit with a couple of updates, and they can solve all this shit. I mean, because games come native. Most games already come native with voice chat. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Fortnite comes native on the Nintendo Switch with fucking voice chat. So if you have Fortnite on Nintendo Switch, you can actually use voice chat with other players. You don't need the fucking app. So why don't they give the green light to all the other developers out here for these multiplayer games and let them, ride them to the sunset? I don't understand it, man. They're playing lollipop games. They're playing with emotions right now, and none of us like it. And they need to change it. That's just my opinion. And I think sooner or later it's going to happen, because they're going to get tired of all the backlash. And hopefully, that's enough to make them change their ways. But yeah, that's pretty much like the boo-boo, for the most part of this online shit. I mean, the Nintendo games, come on, man. You guys can't do any better. I mean, they have all this backlog, that's full of, great titles, from the heyday, and they're going all the way back to Nintendo. What about Super Nintendo? What about the GameCube? What about the Nintendo 64? What about the Wii? I mean, I would love to see Mad World, you know what I'm saying, on the Nintendo Switch. I would love, that's my favorite Wii game. Okay, Mad World. If you don't know about Mad World, Google that shit, man. I'm not going to say anything else about that title, man. I love that fucking game. That was a game that came out and had everybody fucking shook. Because it was a game, it's a violent game, very, very dark, very, very violent game, man. And for it to be out on Nintendo, it just blew my mind. Yeah, it did. But definitely check out that. But, games like that, just classic games, we should be able to play these. And we should be able to get access to these, let us get some of those. What's up with that? But they're just, maybe we will one day. Maybe they're trying to, bird feed us, give us a little here, a little there. They don't want to give us everything at once. But right now, man, I can safely say that, that $20, even is something as cheap as $20 a year, I won't be spending $20 for it. I definitely won't be. Now maybe when I play, Mario Kart or some shit like that, or maybe Smash Brothers, I might test out, I'll give you $5 for a month to try it out and test it out and see how that goes. But, as far as meeting people and wanting to make new friends online and stuff like that, that's the thing that appeals to me the most, because like I said, I've met plenty of great people. I have some really, really good friends, a couple really, really good, damn near family type relationships with a couple of these guys I met, on the PlayStation Network, and it's cool. I mean, we talk every week, all the time, 3-4 times a week. We talk about everything, man, not just games, but family, friends, our own personal, lives or whatever. And, these are people that I've met online, and I was hoping to have something like that develop, with Nintendo as well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not on PlayStation one night, and maybe I got a friend who's going to be on, online on Nintendo this night or that night or whatever. Or maybe I got my friends on Sony, but then I got my friends from Nintendo as well, like something like that. Let's go. Let's get with the times, Nintendo, and let's make something happen. Let's stop playing lollipop games, tying your shirt up, putting Kool-Aid on your lips and calling it lipstick and playing these games. Okay. Let's just stop drinking the sake and let's put down the endo sticks and stop smoking scrolls or whatever you guys are doing over there in your boardrooms with the blinds closed and when nobody's watching. That's pretty much and that's how I feel about it. So I've said my piece with that. Let's move on and let's get to some of the meat and potatoes, some of the good stuff that I, found that appealed to me in this Nintendo Direct. Well, they kicked it off. They kicked it off beautifully, though. I will say this. They did. I'm just going to say Luigi's Mansion 3. I mean, enough fucking said. Luigi's Mansion 3. I was like, yo, I'm sold. That's a keeper right there. That's an automatic buy for me. If you guys don't know anything about me when it comes to Nintendo, I am a Luigi guy. Luigi is my boy. If I play Mario Brothers, I want Luigi. If I play Mario Kart, I want Luigi. Luigi's my dude, man. Green all day. When I saw this, my mind was blown. I can't wait to play this game. Luigi's Mansion is such a great franchise, and it's one of my favorite games on, the 3DS. And now that we also have confirmation of the original coming to the 3DS, everybody was looking around like, yo, okay, 3DS, cool. What about the Switch? And now we can close our mouths because we have it coming to the Nintendo Switch. So Luigi's Mansion 3 is going to be epic. I know it is. I know they're going to put their heart and soul into this game, and I cannot fucking wait. Graphics look beautiful. Yeah, man, just a hit already in the making. So that right there, they set it off beautifully with that. And my demeanor was already set when I saw that. Okay. Capcom beat 'em up bundle. Okay. I am a sucker for the old school beat 'em ups. Okay. Back in the day, the arcades and, we had, you had SNK, you have Capcom, all these great titles, man. One of my favorites, who was also a character. Well, no, is he? I can't remember. God damn it. Well, one of my favorite games, let me just say this, in the arcade was Captain Commando. Okay. I remember sinking hundreds of quarters into this fucking arcade, man, when it was, when I was at the arcades playing this shit, man. And that's just one of 7 games available on this Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. Now, the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle is going to be available for all platforms, PlayStation 4, I think Xbox, everything. But this is a game perfect on the go or perfect just to play at home sitting around. This is the system I'm going to be buying it for, the Switch. But 7 games. You get 7 classic games. You get Final Fight, which is another fucking classic, man. Loved Final Fight. You got the King of Dragons. You got Captain Commando. You got Knights of the Round, which was also another fucking great game. You got Warriors of Fate. You got Armored Warriors, and you got Battle Circuit. 7 games, and you get it for $20. Okay. I thought it was like they're going to hit us with like 30 or 40, but hey, they didn't. $20, 7 games. You cannot fucking beat that. I see me and my son playing hours and hours and hours of these games. Gonna be so much fun. Yes, man. Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. It's coming. As a matter of fact, it's slated for the 18th. So it's right around the fucking corner. I think that's what, Friday? When is the 18th? The 18th? No, the 18th is Tuesday. So yeah, this coming Tuesday, man. This Tuesday, this game is out. God damn, that's right around the corner. I move that following weekend. So, oh man, so many things, but I'll definitely be buying this, guys. That's just one piece of candy, in these video game streets that Nintendo Direct, laid upon us. Another one they announced some controllers, these wireless Nintendo controllers. They're basically Nintendo controllers, old school NES controllers, and they're wireless. Okay. You get 2 of them and they're charging $59.99 for them. And, you slide them onto the Switch and, for charging purposes or whatnot. I thought that was cool. But, there's other controllers like this. The ones with the Super Nintendo ones are awesome. I'd prefer those. But, they're available. There's something new, something that we didn't have before. And, I can see some people getting a kick out of that. And, I guess it's okay. Yeah, it's not bad. So that's cool. There's an RPG, that they showed, and it's from a company called Game Freak, and this game is called just simply Town. TOWN, and it's coming in 2019. Let me just say that 2019 is looking very, very good for the Nintendo Switch. I think 2019 is going to be the year of the ticket for the Nintendo Switch. They've got a lot of shit coming down the pipeline, games that we didn't even see at the Nintendo Direct, but we knew were coming before. You got the Metroid, you got one I'm looking forward to, No More Heroes. I can't wait to play that. We got some titles like that coming, man. So, 2019 is going to be a good year. I have a great feeling that 2019 is going to be epic. But yeah, man, this RPG is called Town. It's got I can't really explain like the graphics as far as, it's, I know they're like beautifully animated. I'll just say that. And we don't know too much about this title, but it is on its way. It is coming. And it's a game that just caught my attention and I want to play it. I just want to play it. Google The Town from Game Freak, and it's coming to the Nintendo Switch, baby. Another game that I am highly anticipating is called, let me see if I'm going to pronounce this right. I could be pronouncing it wrong. I think it's called Damien X Machina. Okay. It's basically a Gundam style type of a game with a twist. The graphics are amazing in my opinion. They're animated beautifully. They remind me of something that looks like Dragon Ball Fighters graphically, hand drawn. A lot of hand-drawn effects and whatnot. Looks pretty fucking dope. I love, those type of games, the Gundam series and things of that nature. We didn't get a lot of those because most of that stuff came out in Japan. But we're starting to get some of this stuff trickling in, and, safe to say we're getting this in the States, and it's going to be an epic game, man. You control these robots, and, your character who actually controls the robots, you actually can create that character as well. And there's a lot of gameplay focused around you as a human or a humanoid as well. So you can do a lot of different things on this battlefield. I advise anybody to look into this game and check it out for yourself. But it's slated for 2019. There's no actual release date, but just knowing that it's coming is something that, I can't wait to fucking get into, guys. We've also got Yoshi's Crafted World. That's slated for 2019. There's a lot of Yoshi fans out here in these video game streets, and I think you guys will get a kick out of it. It actually looks pretty good, man. I'm not really a big Yoshi guy, but this is something that if I had it, I would definitely put that in and play it. It looks pretty fucking fun. No doubt about it. Starlink is another game. I think a lot of us already know about Starlink. Battle for Atlas is coming out right around the corner. We got October 16th is coming. And the Nintendo Switch version has characters from, Star Fox in it. The whole team is in it. So this is like an open world action adventure RPG game, but just in fucking, ships. And I like that take on it. And this is why I'll probably be playing it for the Switch, because it's something I like to play for the Switch. I don't want to put all the titles on my Sony. I just got the Switch, so I want to put some stuff into this title, into this hardware, and stack up my library over here. But this is definitely a game I think I want to play. Starlink Battle for Atlas, guys. Check it out, October 16th. All right, now let's get to all you Final Fantasy guys out here in these streets. Oh man, these guys, Nintendo has fucking announced 8. There's 8 in all. Okay, there's 8 Final Fantasy games coming to the Nintendo Switch. All right, mostly all of them coming in 2019, but the main ones that everybody's talking about: Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X, and Final Fantasy X-2, all coming to the Switch, baby, 2019. So eat your fucking heart out. I can't wait for 9 to come to the Switch, because that was probably my favorite Final Fantasy game of recent years. I haven't played 10 or 10-2, but I just had so many good memories, and I never even finished Final Fantasy IX. Something happened and I never got a chance to finish it, but that's one I will definitely have my eye on when it comes out. And I don't know if they're going to release them all at one time or how they're going to plan on doing this, but definitely I can't wait to get my hands on that one. And I might even give the other ones a go as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, Final Fantasy fans should definitely be pleased with this news. All these Final Fantasy games, guys, coming to the Switch. So, I mean, they're doing some things. I mean, all in all, this pretty much was the best Nintendo Direct from, from what I know, listening to everybody else, especially the big Nintendo fanboys and girls out here, they've been saying that, pretty much this is the best one so far. And, somebody who's just became a member of the Nintendo Switch family, hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not, because a lot of my titles that I'm looking forward to aren't even fucking, mainstay titles. A lot of them are, old classics. A lot of them are indie titles. So, hey, that's cool. I definitely feel great about looking forward to a lot of these games, man. Yeah. Animal Crossing. The internet, had a fucking baby when this was announced. Animal Crossing is slated for 2019, guys. So all you Animal Crossing fans out here, man, I know you're licking your chops. You can't wait to sink hours and hours to this game. I've heard lots of great things about this game. I never played it, but this might persuade me to maybe take a chance on this game. It seems like something that you could get caught up in and lose yourself in. But Animal Crossing is coming 2019. Be ready for that. And I'm sure a lot of you are. Diablo 3, slated for November 2nd. Diablo fans, hey, eat your heart out. A lot of you guys have not played Diablo 3, and it's a perfect opportunity to pick it up for this system and give it a go. And some people are going to buy it anyway just because they can have it on the go or whatnot. Me personally, I wouldn't pay $60 for the game because that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be, $59.99, especially when you can get another version of it way cheaper. Unless you just have to play it on the go and you feel like you have to do that. I mean, other than that, man, in my opinion, I'd save that for another gaming system, but that's just me. And this is the last game I'm going to bring up real quick. And it blew my mind when I heard this news. I'm anxious to see how this plays and how the system handles this, but they're saying that, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, guys, is coming out, for the Switch in Japan. Okay. Via the cloud. Okay. Now, I don't know how that's going to work or how that's going to pan out. That's something that we have to, address when that time comes, because whenever you have a title this fucking graphically intense, I just didn't think that the Switch could handle this, game. And maybe it can. I mean, and this via the cloud thing, I don't know how that works. I don't know, how that entails, how they make it work, but we're going to get into it. I'm going to find out more. And as the news comes out, I'll definitely be checking this out because, especially if it's coming out in Japan only, I mean, that's kind of like, what? Why would it just come out in Japan and not come out in the States? I'm assuming that this game is going to come out in the States as well. But we shall see. We all know, well, if you don't know, you might not know. The Nintendo Switch is basically not region locked. So you could play any game made in any, country, and you can play it on your Switch universally. So I could buy something in Japan and I could, have it sitting here and it would play in my, American Nintendo Switch. That's a good thing. Now, the only other question you might have to ask yourself is, is there an option for languages? Now, if there's an option on this game for English or any language, then you might be in some luck. Because if you can go to English, then hey, you might be set. I'd play it. I'd definitely play it, and I wouldn't mind reading the subs if that was possible for this game. But like I said, I have to see how it plays, guys. That looks like a lot of high scaling graphics, man. And I really don't know if the system can handle it, but we will see. Cause I don't think they can fit this game on a cartridge. That's why via the cloud is probably the only way you can probably get your hands on a title like this. So I got this game being a huge game as far as gigabytes, are concerned. So we'll see, man. I'll keep you guys posted on that. And that's pretty much the news, guys. That's pretty much the show. Man, almost 50 minutes. And yeah, that's going to do it. I hope you guys liked the show. Like I said before, a quick reminder, I will be moving next weekend. So the next week's podcast will be a little bit late. Be looking for that around Monday night or Tuesday morning. I'm not looking forward to this move, guys, but this will be the last move for a long, long time. And, hopefully I can get all of my shit together in a timely manner and get my setup back up. I mean, I got my microphone here. I got my whole all my setup, man, is just, I have to unpack all my shit. I have to break down all my figurines and my Naruto, my Dragon Ball stuff, all my shit, man. Oh, that's going to suck, but it is what it is. We'll get it done though. Yeah, man, just stay tuned, guys. If you want to leave a message, comment, if you want to talk about anything subject wise, anime, gaming, any kind of thing like that, then you can hit me at Twitter at Studio MacGyver. You can check out the Facebook page at Studio MacGyver as well. And you can check out my Instagram, Studio MacGyver79. Also, Studio MacGyver TV on YouTube. I'm trying to grow the channel. The channel will be getting a revamp in October. So I'm going to, make some changes and stuff, and hopefully it's for the better. And I will have a Patreon, sometime next year. So be looking out for that as well, guys, if you want to support your boy. I'm also going to be giving out, free shirts and prizes and stuff, probably in the end of the year, early in 2019, if you guys are looking forward to anything like that, just come check out Studio MacGyver TV and we can get into all this stuff, guys. I just want to thank all my listeners. I want to thank all the new listeners coming in, stopping by. Hope you liked what you heard, and it will continue I will continue to put out content, and as long as you guys continue to listen. Everybody all over the world who checks me out, man, thank you guys. There's a lot of people who fuck with me, man, that aren't even in the States, and I appreciate you guys as well. I love each and every one of you guys. With that being said, I'm going to get my ass up out of here. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.